Every family has a choice, follow the herd or carve their own path. This is the Lone Wolf Podcast. Are you ready to stray from the pack?
Welcome to the Lone Wolf Podcast. Hello!
I had a recent observation.
Okay.
Yesterday, I have to orient myself for a second because I don't think I ever know what day it is or how much time has passed. I think I just, my days don't have a beginning or end these days, you know? I think it was yesterday. I was kind of having a rough go.
Okay.
I was feeling very what's the word? Not irritable. I was feeling very irritable. If somebody chewed next to me or the dog made another sound, I was gonna burn the house down.
That's rough because you have a 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old that literally chews as close to you as possible and as loud as possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She will literally come from another corner of the house and then put her stomach against my arm and then just chew in my ear.
Be like, Mama?
Yeah.
Mama. You're like,
and
what? Mama. Did you know Emily?
Yeah. And I'm like, honey, I love you, but get the fuck off me. Anyway, she was having a very hard time as well. Very moody, very grumpy, very angry, just pushing my buttons on everything. And then you know what? I was like, let's go outside. Outside fixes it. We'll go outside, take the baby outside. We'll go walk around. Mm-hmm. Well, then the neighborhood kid comes out and he has these weird red, I don't know, markings under his eyes. He looks like a zombie. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, hey, bud, are you okay?
Yeah.
And he just kind of looks at me with his eyes glazed over and he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I was like, are you sure? I was like, are you tired? Did you nap today? Did you have a long day? Yeah. Were you rubbing your eyes? Did you eat something weird? I was like, you look like you're not feeling well. And he's like, no, I'm fine. And walked away and I was like, whoa, all right. There's something in the air.
Yeah.
And then we had a homeschool co-op,
mm-hmm.
which somehow I swear our friends only make daughters. Yeah. Because all of our social groups are just a bunch of girls.
It's 100% true.
And that's hard. So you take one grumpy 6-year-old and you put her in a group with 5 grumpy 6-year-old girls. And they were all just going at it.
Yikes.
And I was just thinking to myself, what the fuck is happening? I was having therapy with ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. I was like, something is wrong in our household. What the fuck? This morning, our baby pees all over herself, which has been this recurring thing lately. I don't know. We have something weird going on with the diaper situation.
The diaper's not absorbing enough.
Or somebody doesn't know how to put them on right. But apples to apples here.
Listen, she does it when you put it on too.
Really, because you put her diaper on for bedtime every night and she only pees all over herself at nighttime.
Well, then why don't you put her diaper on? We'll see if it works.
I thought about it, actually. I was going to do it tonight, but I was too busy cleaning up the tornado that our oldest made in her room.
Well, let's make that a priority tomorrow.
All right, see it out.
See if I'm really just terrible at putting diapers on or
well,
if there's something wrong with the diapers.
You're right. Well, she woke up early
mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know what? We're just going to go for a walk. We're going to make the best of this. Let's go enjoy, the nice weather. And as I'm tooting along with my stroller, I look up in the sky. Guess what I saw? I'll give you one guess.
A hawk.
A full moon.
Oh.
And then everything made sense.
Yeah.
Because all the parasites inside these children are tweaking the fuck out in the full moon.
That's a real thing?
It's a real, so they say. It's a real thing.
Who told you that?
I think it was on some podcast or something.
Okay.
Somebody legit. Okay.
So a full moon can make parasites in your body freak out?
Yeah.
And it just wreak havoc on you?
And yeah, and they just make you moody and like tired, and like all the side effects of having parasites are amplified when there's a full moon.
Okay. I'll
I don't
buy
know.
it.
I gotta be honest, I haven't looked into the science on it, but it made sense to me. Like I heard that and I remember being like,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. But I mean, working in birth work, I can't tell you when I was attending births,
Yeah.
you don't want to be on call when it's a full moon. Like,
Yeah. And I do remember you saying that.
I would end up going to 3 or 4 births in a single night.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that was rough.
But like the full moons, man.
Yeah.
It's because like when the moon is full, it affects like water, right?
Right. The tides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
your womb is full of amniotic fluid.
Okay, so there might actually be some science behind
There might
it.
be some science behind
Okay.
it. When it comes to the parasites, I don't know what the link is, but I'm just
The parasite
saying.
thing, that's kind of been interesting.
This is anecdotal though, okay?
Right.
But the neighborhood kids be acting out. I was not feeling great.
Those motherfuckers are always acting out.
No, but this was was extreme.
Different level.
Everybody's okay today. Are they not?
They seemed kind of friendly today.
Yeah, everybody's feeling better. Like their parasites are.
They wanted to
went back to bed.
Like playing nicely.
Yeah, happy,
sharing with each other,
enjoying themselves. Like yeah. And so am I actually. I feel great today.
I'll buy it.
All right, I know. But speaking of parasites,
yes,
you're now doing parasite cleanses.
I am doing a parasite cleanse. I've missed a few days, but I'm back on it today.
How does it feel to be a guy who does parasite cleanses now? Did you ever think you would be that guy?
I mean, coming from where I came from, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I never thought a parasite cleanse would be on the list of things that I would do. Ever.
And here you are.
Here I am.
I know.
Raising kids, daughters.
Yeah.
And cleansing my body of parasites and any other toxicity.
And tracking the full moons now.
Yeah.
Turned you onto a new one.
I'm cycle charting.
Yeah. Well, let's take a walk down memory lane. I feel like I think you have a really interesting story to tell.
Okay.
That I think a lot of other dads could really relate to.
Yeah.
And also men who haven't like embarked on that fatherhood journey yet. I think that there's a lot that they could learn and take from your story.
Yeah.
And even, I don't know, I feel like you said this the other day, like there could be like moms listening that are like, my son needs to hear this.
Yeah.
Right?
Like that would have been my mom.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
Like if she...
Like, look, Jordan, there's hope for you.
Yeah. If she heard a story like, about where I am now and, But yeah, I think there's probably a lot of people, a lot of men that are, in their younger years that feel like because of their lifestyle or because of the things that they've chosen or the path that they've chosen, that maybe like a family and being a father is not something that they either aspire to be or something that's within their reaches.
That they're like cut out for.
Yeah, or maybe they just feel like they couldn't do a good job at it.
Did you feel like you were that guy?
I always thought that I could probably be a good father. And my mom had always told me, like, I think you'd be a good dad because kids really like you, whatever.
And you're patient.
Yeah, and I definitely had those aspirations when I was younger, for sure. And then getting into like early 20s and getting like growing up in Vegas, this is obviously not everywhere that has this where you can make a career out of like nightlife.
Yeah, it's
a different thing
for me.
Most everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of cities that have big nightlifes and venues and places and bartending and all that kind of stuff. But Vegas is obviously like the place that is known
for that. Yeah, and I grew up in a little teeny tiny hick town where the population's smaller than UNLV's campus size.
100%.
There's no nightlife there. Like the nightlife is like I don't know, watching deers and stealing street signs. You know what I mean? Like that's nightlife
Yeah.
in Cameron Park, California.
Right. Getting like a 12 pack and going in your boyfriend's truck out to the desert or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which we did that here too. But that was also like, that was more like when you're like 15, 16.
Yeah.
And then you graduated to, you know, bars and clubs and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think what's kind of scary is, you know, the access. Like as a 20-something-year-old, you have access to way more stuff than, for example, I had access to growing up.
For sure.
That temptation and even that like culture is there.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people that if they're listening that work in nightlife or have worked in nightlife or restaurants in nightlife or bars or clubs know that when you get into that, it's really, really easy to have that become who you are. Not only like, not like to change you, but it does kind of change you. And it makes it to where everything is easily accessible.
Mhm.
Somebody at the nightclub or somebody at the restaurant or somebody at the bar that you work with has an easy connection for substances or alcohol or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
So it's really easy to start dabbling in stuff that you probably wouldn't have thought of doing before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you realize you're like, oh shit, I can actually, this is more fun
Mhm.
on my shift. Like I'm getting paid.
Right.
I might as well like party and, I'm getting more tips and
Right.
the vibe is better. And,
Yep.
it's really, really, it's a slippery slope. And I think a lot of people kind of get sucked into that world. And I definitely got sucked into that world because it wasn't a place that I wanted to be sober.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, because you'd be the only guy sober.
Well, and no, there are people that definitely do that job sober, but you can tell, like, like, yeah, you seem like you're in a terrible fucking mood.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. Like, I would be in a terrible mood too if I was walking around a restaurant sober, cleaning up after people.
It's being like the one sober guy at the party.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
like now all of a sudden your friends who you typically really enjoy, they're all drunk and you're sober and you're like, I can't fucking stand these guys.
Like if you're sober, you'd be like, fuck, I'd rather just be home in my bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you almost feel like you have to do these things to like keep up, to like show up and do your job.
It goes along with the territory.
So explain, like, for people who, like, to me, I remember when we first met, you, I think, had mentioned, at this time you had just started a new career in real estate, but I think you had mentioned like nightlife, and I was like immediately turned off by it because I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like what is that?
Really
like,
hurt.
Yeah. And it just had such a negative.
It seems sleazy.
It feels very sleazy that I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is just some guy who like gets with girls, sleeps with them, moves on, like is drunk all the time, whatever. I'm like, that is not for me.
When you weren't far off. So it was like,
right.
It wasn't like, I was definitely like making a transition career wise.
Yeah.
Cause I had my real estate license when I was still working in nightlife. And then, kind of got an opportunity right after COVID to,
well, you were going to hair school.
I was, yes. So I was during COVID. I was like, that was kind of a time where everyone was trying to scramble and make changes
and kind of reevaluating.
Yeah, and I knew I didn't want to stay in nightlife forever because I'm like this. There's got to be an end goal here. I can't be 45 years old.
Yeah,
and still running around the nightclub. That's one, my body's not going to hold up, and two, it's not a good look in my opinion. And if somebody is doing that, no disrespect to you.
It just wasn't what you wanted.
It wasn't what I wanted. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I did end up trying to do hair school, which was going great. Then I had done an interview with a home builder and decided that, that would be a good option for me. But COVID hit, things kind of fell off. About a year later, I'm midway through hair school and they say, hey, we'd like to hire you now. So I got offered the job and then, kind of like weighed my options and went back and forth on it and ended up taking the advice of a couple of friends and people that were already well established, and they said that would probably be my better bet. So I went with it and it ended up being great. It was a great career change. I still work in that career.
So bring us back to like, for anybody who is like me and met you in the bar and you're like nightlife and I'm like, ew, what does that entail? For the people who aren't familiar with what nightlife is, like explain it a little bit. Like, what were you doing? What was the environment like?
So I did everything from, I started bussing tables at restaurants on the strip, and then went to like food running, and then serving, and then bartending.
But it's not just like your average like
No.
bartender. You know, like being a bartender where I grew up is probably very different than being like a bartender in Las Vegas.
Let me give
like,
you some perspective.
Yeah,
So
like paint the picture for us.
this is just a short story, and I'm not going to name names or say where I was working, but one of my jobs that I ended up working for there for a while, when I initially got hired, I was dating a girl that was a hostess, and she ended up getting me this interview. And so I sat down, and I had experience bussing tables. I was like 20, maybe 21 years old, and sat down with the manager, and it was a cool new restaurant and on the strip. And so I sit down with the manager, they hire me. I start working that week, and I do like a week of training, just bussing tables in a restaurant. You work with a server, and loud music, DJ, they have the whole thing going on, and everyone's partying in there. And after my first week of working, I get the manager calls me into his office, and he's like, "Hey Jordan, come on in." So I come in, and immediately when I walk in, the manager has a blunt that he's rolling. He's rolling a blunt at his desk in the office, and there's a bag of cocaine and like a bottle of whiskey sitting there.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, "Oh, sorry," like
think you're interrupting something
like,
personal.
like this is weird, like I didn't know what to say. And he's like, "Oh no, don't worry about it. Come on, sit down." So I'm sitting there, and he's rolling a blunt. "Hey, how do you think you're doing? You feel like everyone thinks that you're doing a great job. I feel like, you're done with training, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, "Yeah," I'm like, "Yeah, I feel like I'm ready to go." And he's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Well, we really appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to, having you be part of our team."
Yeah.
And he finishes rolling the blunt, and he lights it.
Yeah.
And he's like, you want some? And I was like, I didn't know if this was like a trick.
Right. If
Or
he's
like,
testing
what the
you.
fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna head home. And he was like, all right, man. Well, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow then, and you'll be on the floor.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking out of there. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I had already worked at other restaurants and stuff like that, but it was.
Do you feel like that was like your first experience of kind of like, okay, this is like,
well,
I'm running with the big dogs now, like.
I had worked prior to that at Rehab Day Club, which was a wild place. That was like one of the wildest pool parties in Vegas.
A place called Rehab,
Yeah.
though, the irony.
Yeah. And that was kind of the first pool party that set off all the other pool parties that were like day clubs. So I
think it's hard when you're like a 20-something-year-old male.
Yeah.
And that's like one of your first jobs. You're
yeah,
feeling so good, like you're feeling so high. You're like, I literally go to work and all these girls are like, think I'm so hot and I could like pull chicks.
Well,
and
you
like
you work with waitresses, and they're all wearing bikinis,
Yes.
like thong bikinis,
Yeah.
and like there's always like flirtation between coworkers, and coworkers are dating each other.
Of course.
It's a shit show.
Having sex in the bathrooms.
Managers are
and
dating the waitresses, but not saying it, and it's like trying to get. There's just like power struggle for everybody.
But I feel like at that age, though, like a young man, it's like exciting. It's like invigorating. You're
sure.
like full of testosterone and like,
awesome.
yeah.
It was awesome. And I was, living with a buddy at the time that was also working with me at the day club. But anyways, so I had seen shit. Like I had seen stuff at the day club, but I had never had an interaction with a manager
like
that felt like it was it was definitely inappropriate. But
right.
like, I was like, this is different.
So then when did it get to like, when did you like build the confidence to be like, okay, like I can drink and do substances and whatever while I am clocked in at work?
First weekend.
At the same job.
Yeah. After I saw that, I was like,
hell yeah.
Let's go. And then I started working in a lot of the servers.
I was going to say.
Other bussers that I was working with, like you'd work in like a team, and they'd usually try to pair up servers with bussers that work well together and stuff like that. So it was me and a buddy of mine, and then a couple other servers that were a little older, and they would order shots for tables and order us shots when they ordered them. So we'd go run to the bar, we'd pick up the shots.
Yeah.
Everyone would party. We'd bring ours to the back, shoot our shots. There was always a guy that had like a, some sort of painkiller, or, someone had Adderall, or someone had something. And so you'd be like, oh, like here, they give it to you as like a tip, it's like, here you go. This is like for you tonight. Have fun. So you're like, hell yeah. So you take that, shoot a couple more shots, and you'd be flying. You'd just be out there doing your thing, working, and it was crazy.
It's so crazy
It was
for me.
insane. And that was 5 days a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was there ever a part of you that was like, maybe this isn't normal, or maybe this isn't like right for me? Or at this time were you like, this is fucking awesome?
I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was awesome because when I growing up here, all of my friends, like through high school, there was always parties. It was always like we had fake IDs at a really young age. We were going to gamble at the Klondike where they had $2 hands of blackjack with fake IDs. Like it was the culture
Yeah.
that I grew up in ahead of time. So I didn't even think it was that crazy. I just thought it was crazy that they were allowing us to do it at work.
Do you think there would have been any form of like rejection in your social circles or your like coworkers if somebody were like, hey man, like here's this oxy, here's this whatever, and you were like, no thanks?
Probably like a little bit of like why, but it wasn't so much of like shaming you, but it was like, okay, well, what are you just gonna drink tonight type of thing.
Yeah, you're just gonna do something else instead.
Yeah, like, oh, he doesn't want this, but he'll be doing that.
Well, and it's just I don't know, it's just so normalized when that's what you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
And then I think that becomes also the people that you're probably hanging out with,
Right. 100%.
outside of work as well.
Yeah.
Right. That it becomes a lifestyle.
So to touch on, just to follow up on the story that I told you about the manager, flash forward about 3 years.
Can we pause for a second for your hot pink fingernails?
Yeah.
I'm just watching those hot pink nails fly around here.
Not because I feel a little bit but because I don't like the way the paint feels on my fingernails. It feels like they're suffocating me.
Well, if anybody's interested in a really solid mani-pedi Holland's nail salon,
she will definitely
hook you up.
And she'll use an excessive amount of paint.
Got you with those French tips.
And your cuticles will not breathe.
Yeah, I
don't know how women do this because I never thought that like your fingernails felt like they needed to breathe.
Yeah.
That's a real thing for me.
Yeah, I am not said women. This is the first time I think I've had my nails painted in probably 4 years.
Yeah, you're also somebody who does not
like those things.
You're a non-natural.
I'm all natural.
Yeah.
Okay, back on your story.
Okay, so anyways,
Bring it back.
Yeah, fast forward a few years, I'm working at the same restaurant. That same manager who hired me, we come into a shift one day to set up the bar, and I was bar backing at the time, and it was like 3 p.m. And we walk in and we're like, something's off. Like there's just like stuff everywhere. There's plates out on the tables. Like there's like half-eaten food, and we're like, what the fuck's going on here? And we walk into like the main dining area, and you have to go up these steps, and in one of the booths is the manager with his shirt undone, sleeping in the booth with empty bottles of wine and drinks and food all over the tables. And there's two like very they're working girls, if you know what I mean. So ladies of the night, also passed out in the booth. And we're like trying to wake them, like we're like, hey man, like you got to get up. What's going on? Like, oh, what time is it? And we're like, oh yeah, dude, it's like we're getting ready to set up for like dinner.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, okay, and like kind of pulls himself together, pulls these girls out. I don't know, sends them out. They like kind of scamper off, pull on their skirts down and stuff. It was a mess. So anyways, he was friends with the owner, and something happened where, they didn't want to fire him, and they knew he had a problem, so he ended up going to rehab. So
not the day club rehab, yes.
Not where I used to work. Actual rehab for a cocaine and alcohol addiction.
Yeah. Could you imagine any other job though where somebody could do something like that? And
when the party went on, like we all still did our thing that night. But yes, that was a crazy, crazy time. And it didn't stop there. I mean, I ended up working other places and worked at the nightclub and did all of that. And then finally made that transition into real estate.
So you think COVID was the main thing that made you like?
It was honestly kind of just
Like, if you think COVID didn't happen, would
If
you have stayed in longer than you did
I had been trying to get the job that I'm currently in while I was working at the restaurant
prior to COVID?
prior. So I did my interview while I was still working at the restaurant, and I was kind of like, "Hey, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here." Like I was telling my friends, like,
Mm-hmm.
because even though everyone's having fun and doing that thing, it's always like everyone's always got an aspiration or an idea of how they're gonna get out of that.
Yeah, like maybe it's this lingering kind of thought that like this isn't sustainable long term.
A lot of those people are still doing it,
Yeah.
and not it's like if you do get out and you are able to be successful and get out of it, it's kind of like, damn, like congratulations to that person. But also, there's people, then they just start to hate on you, like, oh, blah, 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 like,
Yeah.
probably not even happy anymore, blah, 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 you know?
Which is so sad because I think that being in that type of environment like skews what is like real and what actually provides true value and happiness in your life.
Yeah,
And I mean, since I was a part of, your kind of transition out of that, I saw it, that there were a lot of things that to me, like I got to know you and I know
right,
who you were as a
right,
person. And I felt like you were carrying a lot of extra things that weren't who you are at your core,
for
but were
sure.
product of this lifestyle and culture and an environment.
Yeah.
And it took you a long time to really like shed those layers.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think that there was a lot of bad habits that I picked up along the way that definitely were not things that I was proud of or that I ever thought I would be doing.
Yeah.
Um, but it also kind of changed it almost like warped my mind to think that like, okay, well, this is who I am now. I have to just like, I never thought I was going to get married before we met. I was like, at that point, I had thought previously with other relationships, like maybe this could, maybe, whatever.
Hmm.
But after like some failed relationships and being with people that were in that industry, I was like, I'm never going to find somebody, at least in the circle that I'm in right now, that I would want to be with long term. I don't trust them. I
That you
had
would
that.
want to be like the mother to your
Yeah,
children.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I'm not gonna have kids. I just wrote it all off as like, I'm just gonna be single for the rest of my life, worry about myself.
You had a trailer.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna move into that thing.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of who I thought I had to be.
Yeah.
And then
It's an identity.
yeah,
I mean, it was. I mean, that was your identity.
yeah, for sure. And then, started working the more daytime job where it wasn't as, it's like it was a normal time frame of a job and more
Hmm.
normalcy. And I was helping people buy homes, and it was,
Did you find that transition challenging?
yeah, because
Yeah.
I was still kind of half in nightlife,
Hmm.
but also half out.
Well, and it's a huge difference to all of a sudden wake up in the morning
Hmm.
and like put yourself together
Yeah.
and go into an office and you have to be sober.
Yeah.
But you're
Right.
not used to being sober at like you know what I mean? Like
Well, you're not used to even waking up that early.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I don't think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you had many days where you didn't consume something.
Yeah. That was rare.
Yeah.
It's very rare. So it was a weird transition to be like, okay, well, I'm going to be working at a desk. I mean, working with people during the day. And then at night, it's like, now what do I do with myself at night?
Yeah.
So, I was still going and partying with friends that were in that industry. And like,
You still had a foot in.
I still had a foot in for sure. But it was kind of like, there was kind of this like part of me that was like, okay, well, I made that's a big change, So
Hmm.
maybe there is still hope, but in the back of my head, I was still thinking like I'm just gonna remain single. I'm not gonna date because I was still trying to, like I was still talking to girls that were in that industry.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like
Yeah.
so. I was still like, do I trust her? No, but it's like that's kind of
But it's just what you know. And
yeah.
it's,
And
yeah.
I didn't want to go on Tinder. I didn't
Yeah.
want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just kind of a weird transition where I was like, still kind of caught up in the status of that world, and I was like, well, I'm making better money now, and like I have a good job now. Like this is
Well, and a lot at this time, almost all of your like very close friends were married and having children, right?
yeah, like my core group of friends were all married and having children, and it felt like that was great, but I also was kind of like saw certain things that I was like, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was still very like the kids are great, and I think that it did show me a side of like friends that were like really really blessed and happy to have their children.
Yeah, and it
And
like softens.
and it's like you can tell that they really really love their kids, and like that is it for them, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I also saw on the other end it was like a lot of fighting with their spouse or not getting, and I'm like, that sounds terrible. Like,
Yeah.
to get a kid out of it is cool, but like also to have to deal with somebody forever and be attached to this person for indefinitely
It's a
and not
huge
and end up
decision.
maybe not liking them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of scary for me.
Well, then what happened? Because here we are now, huh?
This episode of the Lone Wolf Podcast is brought to you by Heart and Soil's Whole Package Supplement. Yes, the one with the actual testicle in it. You can keep pounding energy drinks and praying for a miracle, or you can fuel your body with real deal nutrients straight from nature's multivitamins. Beef liver, heart, blood extract, and yes, a little ball power. If you've ever thought, man, I wish I could bottle masculinity, congrats, Heart and Soil already did it. Packed with bioavailable nutrients, this stuff is designed to help you feel like the primal beast you were meant to be, not some limp noodle scrolling TikTok at 2 a.m. So get your vitamins and your minerals with a dash of testosterone straight from nature herself, because nothing says I care about my health like swallowing a little testicle. Use code LONEWOLF for 15% off your first order. Heart and Soil. Fuel up, get primal, and straight from the pack.
You know that moment when you realize you've been duped? Yeah, that was us in the snack aisle. We thought we were doing everything right. Boxes that screamed all natural, bags that bragged whole grains, only to flip them over and see seed oils everywhere. So we did what any dramatic parents on a mission would do. We tossed everything in the pantry. And then we found masa chips, fried in good old-fashioned tallow, the way your great-grandma would have made them. No seed oils, no tricks, just the crunchiest chip we've ever had. Honestly, it was love at first crunch. The kind of crunch that makes you side-eye every other chip and whisper, you'll never be good enough. Want in? Head to masachips.com/lonewolf or use code LONEWOLF for 20% off your first order. Masa chips. Stay crunchy, straight from the pack.
Yeah. So, fast forward, not even like, it wasn't even that far into me getting that new job that,
It was honestly for both, like in both of our lives.
huge transitions.
I was going through a huge transition and I had rode off.
Yours was a very, very big moment for you.
Yeah.
Where you were not looking.
At all.
Yeah. And neither was I.
In fact, I was doing the complete opposite. I was just coming out of a divorce and custody battle over my baby.
Right.
At the time. She was 6 months old when all this was going on and COVID had just happened.
Yep.
And I was trying to I was came to Vegas and was living with my parents and trying to get, on my feet and figure out what my life is going to look like.
Right.
And how am I going to afford to, I had a degree, but I didn't really know what to do with it. And making a decision to go to nursing school so that I could be an RN and have decent hours and still see my kid, but make enough money to put a roof over our heads and feed us and all of that. I was going through this huge transition.
Yeah, for sure.
And I got really, really confident in that time frame, feeling like I don't need anyone else. I don't need no man, that's how I felt. I was very much so in my I am a mom and I'm a single mom and I'm a woman and I don't need a man and I got this thing and there's no room for you.
Right.
I can do this all by myself.
Yeah. Listening to a lot of Beyonce. Oh, the single lady.
Actually, I'm not a Beyonce fan. I was probably listening to folklore or something, but yes. so I think that there's some irony in both of our stories, that
Yeah.
we both were kind of writing off relationships, and there was a part of me that was just absolutely devastated because I was convinced that like I'm only gonna have one child and I'm never gonna like
Right.
get married again. I'm not gonna get an opportunity to have more kids. Like,
When you always wanted a big family.
and I always wanted to have
Right.
a handful of children.
Yeah. So we end up at the same bar.
Yeah.
We, by a chance of fate,
Yeah.
or we're hanging out with people that knew each other.
Do we shout out Polly?
Shout out to Polly.
If you're listening, Polly.
He'll be listening.
Yeah. Because he loves you.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Polly. He didn't want to go to the place that we went.
Yeah.
He wanted to go somewhere else because he didn't want to run into any girls that he had hung out with before.
Yeah.
Because he's such a popular dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're a douchebag. Let's go. No one's gonna care if you're there or not.
Yeah.
So we get there,
and then here comes 3 girls, all 6 foot. Like,
sure enough, Polly, what's up?
Yeah.
As we're sitting down, and it's whoever you were with at the time. I don't even think you talk to them anymore.
I don't. I keep up on socials maybe here and there with one of them, but the other one no.
Yeah.
They were just one of like the group was people that were going to the same nursing school as me, and I had just started nursing school like a few days before or a few weeks before we met.
Weren't you just like looking for like a night out?
No, it was one of their birthdays.
That's right.
And they wanted to go out, and I was very like hesitant. They were like my first like friends that I made moving here to Vegas.
Yeah.
None of them are moms,
Right.
and I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was them or my parents, but one of them was like, you got to do this. Come on, like you deserve to go have fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're totally right. Like, that actually sounds really fun. So my parents like offered to watch Holland. And I remember we went over to one of the girls' apartments, and it felt fun. Like, it felt like being in college again. Like, because I was only 23 years old, like I'm still practically a kid myself, and it felt really good. Like, I got to put on like a cute outfit, and I put on makeup, and like, but I was not like going out to like get hit on or picked up by guys, or I was like, I have a baby at home to like go home to,
and it was still kind of COVID because it was like tables had to be separated. You could only have a certain amount of people, and you had to wear your mask if you're like standing up, blah, blah, blah. So I remember that you guys walked by, they said hi to each other, and we kind of like said hi to each other, whatever. And I saw you, and I was like, dang, she's tall and she's got a great ass. That was immediately, I was like, okay.
I remember you literally stood up to like compare our heights because I had heels on.
Yeah.
I think you were just making sure that you were at least taller than me.
So is she a giant?
Because, well, I mean, I'm definitely like 6 foot in heels for sure.
Giant with a great ass? It's immediately attractive.
And then once I took the face mask off and you saw these cheekbones.
I said, dang, those are some pronounced cheekbones.
And then literally we went into the bathroom, and one of the girls was like doing coke off the toilet seat. And I was like, maybe this is my time to go home.
Yeah, we probably went in there after you guys.
Probably. Exactly. Yeah. But so we exchanged numbers.
We did. We had a kind of like a very brief, but I thought it was a good conversation. And
I remember I was kind of like flying on cloud 9 though when we left. I remember we then walked like into GVR, and I was like, guys, like Mama still got it.
Yeah,
It was like, I'm the only one in this group. It was like, I just got like,
got a number.
Yeah, I got a numbers. Like, damn.
Yeah.
And I think we were like, how long do I wait? And then I'm pretty sure I texted you first, and I was not like interested.
No.
Like, it was not some like, oh, he's so hot. Like, I gotta like, that's not how. It's just not my headspace. I just felt like excited that like, it felt like this little like hope that, like, I am still young, and I'm still, and you know what? Like, I have a situation where I'm not just a mom right now. Like, I get to also just be Morgan and like go out with some friends and a guy be interested in me, and that feels cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we kind of texted back and forth a little bit, and you were very like,
I was
dry.
I was a douche. Yeah. I was just, because I wasn't like sure if I was even gonna like, if anything was even gonna come of it. I was like, that's kind of like, for me, it was kind of weird. I had always dated girls that I like had either worked with or met through friends that I worked with, that type of thing.
Right.
It felt weird for me to like meet someone
stranger.
randomly. Yeah. So it was kind of like, whatever,
Yeah.
And then, so we end up lining up a date, and I had kind of stalked you on Facebook a little bit, and Instagram.
Well, it's because my maiden name is Viddy, and
Right.
there are no other Morgan Viddies on Facebook.
Right.
So it was not hard to find me.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure my cover photo was me like breastfeeding Holland.
Yeah. And I was like,
which
oh,
maybe I should have changed those before. But again, like, it's not like I went out that night being like, yeah, I'm going to start dating again.
yeah. So I was like, oh, she's a mommy.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mommy over here.
But I was terrified. I didn't want to tell you. I was not going to tell you at all because I felt like very protective, one, of my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And B, I was like, you don't get that right to like know these details of me. Like, we're just gonna go on a date. Like,
for sure. Like, you didn't owe it to me.
No, yeah. And I honestly, I just felt that like this is something that I want to prove to myself, that like my life didn't just end here all of a sudden, that I'm still worthy of like, I don't know, this type of interaction with somebody else who's like interested in me and thinks that, you know, I have things to offer and whatever. Like, was not trying to like find a husband by any means.
No, 100%. Well, and I had even conversed with a lot of friends that I was currently hanging out with about like, oh yeah, she's actually got a kid and like blah blah blah, and most of them were like, dude, don't do that. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be someone's dad now. Like,
and on the flip side of
your
it,
life will be over.
I was absolutely terrified because I didn't know that you knew.
Right.
And I was so terrified. I remember asking my parents, like, I was so nervous. I was like, how do I not like talk about her?
Right.
Because she's the most important thing to me. It's my
100%.
entire life right now.
Right.
How do I not like slip up? And then what if he like asks any sort of question? Like, do I lie? Because I'm not a liar.
Did you tell me on the first date? You did, right?
No, I was not planning to tell you, but you already knew.
I brought it up, I think.
I don't know if you necessarily directly brought it up, but I think that there was kind of like, you knew. And I think as the date got deeper
you started to realize that I knew.
No, as the date got deeper in, I think you, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you started to be like, oh, actually, like, I kind of like her.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool. This is different.
Well, we hit it off. Like, there was a lot of like good conversation, and we had a lot of similar interests. And
our family values, and
I
like,
think we were both surprised.
Totally, we were both
surprised that it was going that well.
I was surprised by more things than just that too, because you did show up drunk. You did not hold the door open for me.
Again, I was still half in, half out. So it's
just that anybody who knows us on a personal level who's listening are probably like, what?
Yeah.
Because you would not think that is who you are.
That was the start.
Or that was like the start of our relationship.
Right. But I mean, to kind of bring it back a little bit, like that was where we initially began, and we really did hit it off. And there was definitely like, it was a learning curve, and there was a lot of that. And I didn't even meet Holland.
No. So tell me, your friends are sitting here telling you like, don't do that, man. That's crazy.
Right.
I remember you telling me that maybe it was your sister who was kind of like, Jordan, like, why would you not go on the date? Like,
yeah. She was like, go try it out. She's
you've
like,
always wanted to be a dad. And
she goes, maybe you'll really like her.
Yeah.
She was like, who cares if she has a kid? And I was like, all right. So she actually kind of convinced me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, maybe she's right.
Yeah.
And
but so at what point, like on the date, like you're partying with your friends, you're drunk, you're like, whatever, I guess I'm gonna like not like no show this lady.
Yeah.
So like you show up.
She probably got a sitter already.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of terrible because I had no idea. I'm here thinking that you just think I'm some like young single chick. But at what point, like, do you recall, like, was there a point in our date or that night specifically where you were kind of like, oh, the kid thing doesn't bother me? Or were you still just kind of like, yeah, there's a kid there, but like, this isn't going to go any farther than maybe a date or two anyway. It doesn't matter, but at least like I'm having fun conversation.
I think as we like hit it off and I realized that there was an actual connection, like, more than just a physical connection, that's when I kind of, like, after the date and after that night, I was kind of I was talking to my sister, and I was like, she was like, how was it? And I was like, fuck. She's like, what? She's like, it didn't go well. I go, no, really well. That's fine. I was like, that's why I'm like concerned. Cause
yeah.
I was like, I actually really like her. I don't think I can not see her again.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of just like in my head, I started to like almost talk myself into like this. It's not a big deal. Like she has a kid. It's no big deal. Like we'll see how it works out.
That it's no big deal that I have a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like because I liked you so much, I was like
Yeah.
convincing myself that this is something that I could potentially do.
Yeah.
And, fast forward to finally we've been dating for over a month. And then you were like, I want to introduce you to my daughter.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was kind of like, it was almost game over for me because I fell in love with her.
I don't know why it's gonna make me like cry just thinking back on that memory. Like I
Yeah.
distinctly remember it. You were over at my house, we were sitting downstairs
Mhm.
and she was asleep, right?
Yeah.
And she had just woken up and was like, okay, I'm gonna go get her. And I
Yeah.
remember like getting her and like
Yeah.
bringing her down. And it was kind of just this like instant, like you guys both were just like drawn to each other.
Yeah.
I think that you both
She
were
was
looking.
like, she was kind of like assessing, because that's who she is.
Uh-huh.
And she was very like, but then once I started to kind of like let her approach me and do that, and then we kind of hit it off. We went to get ice cream, remember, and
We went to the park.
went to the park.
No, I have that picture of you
Yeah,
guys
doing
going
the
down the slide
slide.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was 18 months.
Right.
So she was 18 months old at this point, you
Yeah.
know, not like a baby anymore. Like she was walking around and
Yeah, she
saying
was
some
waddling
words
around and she
and,
was talking and
silly and playful.
Yeah.
And yeah,
she called me Dodo.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dodo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think from there it was just like, holy shit, like she's amazing and you're amazing.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I really started like visioning a life together.
Mhm.
And that's when it was like, it just started. I knew I needed to make a decision quickly if I was all in or all out.
Yeah.
Because
You
I
can't
didn't
play around with a
and
little girl's
no, I would
like
never,
heart.
because is self-centered as my lifestyle was, I still knew that it was wrong to be introduced to someone's child like that and have almost like a fatherly figure role
Mhm.
and then take that away from them. That would to me is not right.
Yeah.
But when I started when I was questioning it, it was like doing a pros and cons type thing, and there were no cons for me. I was so in love with who she was and who you were. I was like, it was over.
Yeah.
I was like, this is, I guess I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of a no brainer for me. But I think that's the main thing is like, you don't know that you can't do something until that thing is presented to you
Mhm.
and you have a decision to do it or not.
Yeah. What do they call it? A holy air ball? That
Yeah.
like social media trend right now where like you're going from like
You
snorting.
explained that to me the other day.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen
you're
it.
like
Yeah.
going from like snorting coke off your manager's desk to like all of a sudden raising like somebody else's kid, you know?
Well, and stepping into a stepdad role, which is
It's
not an
crazy.
easy. It's not. It's definitely different water to navigate.
Yeah.
It's different.
Well,
than,
and to be honest, I'm like, I think a big reason why I felt so scared, even considering dating as a single mom, is I was like, I don't think I could be the mom to somebody else's kid. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't think, especially after navigating like divorce and custody and all of those like messy things, it was
Mhm.
like, I don't think I could possibly like do that to another mom.
for
Like,
sure.
I couldn't imagine coming in and like trying to fill this space and knowing me, like, I can't half ass something. I would want to give it my all.
Right.
But then I don't know, it'd be such a hard, like, it totally like freaked me out,
Right.
Yeah,
that I was feeling that way.
Right.
So I definitely can respect this, like, I don't know, it's a really noble thing to like come in and decide. It's all choice, right? Like to decide to make the choice that you want to love unconditionally, take care of, raise, champion this little girl, not because she's made of your DNA or because you created her or because you have some obligation to do so.
Right. Yeah.
It was all merely choice.
Right. Well, yeah, it was because of the joy and the fulfillment that I was getting from being around her and being around you and like being a positive a positive thing for her in her life.
I mean, in a way, it's kind of a really fucking cool thing in my opinion because you got a twofer.
Yeah.
Like, you get to fall in love with a woman and then you get a mini version of her. Like, you get two of them,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
No, and
Not
it's
everybody gets the twofer deal, okay?
100%. And it's, you know, I think a lot of times coming from like a very self-centered lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
like being single in nightlife and only really going out with people that really everyone, your friends, are really just hoping that you are going to remain partying with them, because as soon as like you decide that that's not something you want to do anymore,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like they
You're
ghost.
wrote off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, you weren't really a real friend because I'm telling you how happy I am now with this new lifestyle. And we have, you know, we're having dinner at home. You know, she's a kid. We can't go out. We can't come to your party, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of just becomes like this. Well, like you basically are done then,
Yeah.
you know, and it's kind of, you kind of have to pick one way or the other. But it was a very going against the the lifestyle and decisions that everyone else around me was making.
The pack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely on brand for, you know, what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because it was something that was kind of like shunned and kind of like frowned upon. It's like, oh, your life's over now,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing.
Right.
And it was like, you're crazy. My life has just begun. Like this is fulfillment. This is actually what I wanted.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's there's definitely a lot of sacrifice, and there's a lot of like selflessness and patience
Mm-hmm.
that goes into being not only a stepdad but a dad in general.
Yeah.
And I think that those characteristics and having to do those things for somebody else bring so much joy and fulfillment to your life.
Well, I think it's this new perspective, this when you're in this nightlife industry, you're always chasing like the next high and those feelings of like happiness and fulfillment
Right.
are instantaneous.
Yeah.
It's this instant dopamine hit. It's
Yeah.
this instant take this pill, feel this way, drink this drink, feel this way,
Right.
hang out with this person, get this out of it. But when it comes to like parenting and having a marriage and a relationship, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, there's a ton of joy and happiness and the deepest amount of fulfillment, but it's edged out of the hard work that it takes of pouring into it every single day. The days when it's hard, when you're tired, it's not an instant thing.
No.
It's something that takes work. And from that, you can forge this beautiful thing that's lasting,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
Well,
it's you had to really rewire this.
yeah, it's like investing. It's investing in something that ultimately is going to bring you fulfillment, love, and joy and happiness over a lifetime.
Yeah. Has great payout.
Yeah, and the emptiness that you wake up to every time you are in that lifestyle of party, have fun, get the high, get the dopamine hit, wake up
Mm-hmm.
and go, well, now I got nothing here.
Yeah.
So I got to go find the next party, the next high, the next thing, the next whatever.
Yeah.
And that lifestyle is it's very lonely, and it's very like you almost have to be okay with the loneliness and the waking up and feeling hollow.
Mm.
Where when I was embracing this lifestyle of, you know, parenting and being, you know, a father figure and a husband, I'm like, there's so many other dynamics that I am like capable of having a good outcome on,
Mm.
that it brings you this sense of fulfillment. Like you're having an impact on these girls' lives.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I realize is like, man, this is what everybody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
This is the, you know, this is why people have children. This is why, you know, good parents
Yeah.
want to be around their kids.
Totally. Well, and then I think, we don't just have Holland now,
No, and
right? Like,
that's another part.
I feel from what I've seen, me being this observer to no, I didn't see, full blown nightlife Jordan, but I've heard the stories and whatever, and I
Yeah.
have, ideas in my head.
Right.
And then meeting you at this very like pivotal moment
Mhm.
and then watching you become a dad. Cause what's crazy is, we've never just been like boyfriend, girlfriend. You've always been like in this dad role as well.
Yeah.
Like there's always been that layer to our relationship. But then, we get married and we decide we want to now like intentionally decide to create another human together
Right. And grow our
and grow
family.
our family. I think that there's this additional layer to it now that like, and this isn't to discredit like like I know without a doubt that you love Holland, like she is your blood.
Right.
But this new layer came on board when we decide we're going to create, we're going to intentionally now grow our family.
Mhm.
And you then got to be a part of the like creating the baby. And I don't mean, in the bedroom.
Right.
I mean in the IVF lab. Like
Right.
we went through
The struggle was real.
like it was brutal. We went through so much together. We went through 2 years of secondary, kind of like unexplained infertility.
Yeah.
And then IVF and all the things in between, right? And then you got to hear the first heartbeat on an ultrasound. You got to like go to the anatomy scan and see her like whole little body formed and moving around. And then, then we did the 3D ultrasound thing
Mhm.
and kind of try to get an idea of like, what is she going to look like? And
Right.
who is she?
Right.
And then you were like there in our living room when she was born, like watching her come out and then holding this little teeny tiny baby staring back at you. It just adds this whole new deepness, I think, to that fulfillment and purpose that you're speaking on.
For sure.
That desire to be like this, like I've shed those layers. Like
sure.
this is not who I am anymore. I have left that behind.
Right.
And while it may have felt good in some moments, like there's nothing that could possibly compare.
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing that could compare. And that's the wildest part. And it's like you said, there's definitely seeing your child be born is one of the most insane things to witness and like the most emotionally like impactful thing
Yeah.
on your life.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
transcendental.
yeah, and well, and then you go from, all the craziness of our infertility journey to finally getting pregnant and us not even believing it and not really believing it until you finally have like a bump. We're like, okay, something's gonna happen.
You could feel a baby moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we end up having, this beautiful child, and then you transition into those very early days of just keeping it alive.
Mhm.
And,
A whole chapter that you didn't experience with Holland.
yeah. So it was a big difference. And there definitely is something to your own, like a child that is built of your DNA and
Mhm.
seeing that. And
There's a primal element.
there's a primal
like,
element for sure.
Yeah.
It's really wild how it can, that element and that aspect of it, of like being there from the whole process and lead up and creating a child with somebody together, that impact can actually almost reinforce the things that I felt prior with Holland.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it all kind of come full circle. And you're now you're like, holy shit, like this, if I ever had any doubts about being a father, like this has made it 100% complete.
Solidified it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I'm like, let's do 10 more.
Okay.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Don't tempt me with a good
Yeah.
time.
I'll be 75 by the time we ever
Yeah,
kid.
you will.
So,
And I'll be 40.
yeah. Yeah. I think the real like message to take from this, from anybody that's potentially watching or on the fence or thinking that it's something that they don't want or that they couldn't have or that they're not capable of doing,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's crazy. And I think that the only way to really find happiness and joy and fulfillment over a lifetime is to be a father figure. For men, I think it's to at least give yourself the opportunity to be a father,
Yeah.
or and whether that be if you can have kids or you can't, there's all different ways to be a father figure to somebody,
Yep.
and to be there for other people and show up and let that be fulfillment in your life.
And you're the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Your entry to fatherhood was not creating a biological child.
Yeah, it wasn't traditional, and it wasn't the normal way of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
but it's become one of the biggest blessings in my life. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine. Like, I think about it all the time. I'm like, I couldn't imagine if I didn't meet you and she wasn't there, and she wasn't, and Holland wasn't part of your life.
Yeah.
Like, that would be devastating,
Yeah.
and it's like one of those things where you look at it and you're like, where would I even be?
I know.
Like, what would that even look like?
I mean, in some ways, I feel like she kind of like saved you,
Oh yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
And I don't just mean that in some like, oh, you'd be dead in a ditch type of saved you, but I mean,
Hey,
she also just brought you out of a dark place and replaced these feelings of like hollowness with like true deep fulfillment and purpose and love and joy and
yeah, I mean, well, you and her gave me something more to live for.
yeah.
And that will forever be ingrained inside of me, that I was I was thinking that this hollow lifestyle was going to be something that I was going to have to do till I died.
Yeah.
And then finding out that I could be way, way more than that, even in the space of just a stepdad.
Yeah.
And now coming full circle, we have our a growing family,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more than I could have ever asked for.
If you feel at home here, leaving a 5-star review helps other families find their way too.
Come hang out with us on socials at Lone Wolf Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next.
Remember, sometimes you have to stray from the pack to discover where you truly belong. Until next time, loners.